and my curly hair here is driving me nuts. I might just put it all back later. All right, we'll just do this for right now. Yeesh. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is on CarolJo's, we do lots of different things. And it doesn't usually include me redoing my hair, but we might be doing that here while we start this live. Okay, because those curls were driving me nuts, and I didn't realize it until I went live. So, but what we do here is that we twice a week will have chats. A chat time is where we will discuss all the things jewelry making, running our small business. It's the time where we as a community here on both TikTok and on the tube talk about running our small businesses, about jewelry making. You have questions, our community will answer them. If you have tips and tricks, it's our time for our community to share them so that we can all learn and grow from each other. Twice a week, we will do tutorials. Most of the time, our tutorials are a step-by-step on how to create jewelry or an accessory. Today, we have a tutorial, but we have a different type of a tutorial. We have a tutorial where I was being asked questions about barcodes, and I thought this would be a great place for us to turn this into a lot of information about barcodes and take it a little bit step further. And we'll talk about that when we get into it here in a few minutes. We also will, throughout the week, have live events. Those live events are where you can claim items that we've done and used in our tutorials, or we have extra items in there that you can create and come up with your own ideas and own creations. As always, on TikTok, if we get to 10K on our likes up there, 10 shares, which we're at 40 already, and Ashley's keeps sharing. We've already got that taken care of, so that part of the goal is done, but we just need to get our likes up to 10K, and we'll start doing giveaways. All right. So some of the questions that I was being asked is like, how do I get my barcodes? What do I do for my barcodes? I want us to take a step back because I'm wondering in some of the things that were being discussed, if it's more than just the barcodes that you are asking about. Are you asking about the barcode or all the information that is on the sticker, hi Lulu, with the barcode? I didn't bring up my backup account, so let me do that so I can make sure I see people when they come in and say hi to them, see your guys' comments and such. Hi, Maria. So that's why, whoop, hold on. Sorry, I didn't turn off my backup account. So that's why I want to take it a step further and do barcodes and the sticker part, okay? Just so that if you have those questions, we can try to answer them all. Whoop, I don't want to go live on my backup account. I want to just go and watch this live on it. There we go. All right, we got that up and going. So I'm going to explain what exactly is a barcode. Hi, Geraldine. Oh, you and Lulu. And I have notes, everybody, because I don't want to forget something. So that's why I wrote down some notes. So what a barcode is. The barcode is a machine readable representation of a product. It could be like your SKU or a product number. So when you see them from me, you will just see the barcode. The behind the scenes of that is actually a product number that has been assigned to it. Has nothing to do with the SKU, has nothing to do with what the item is. It's just a number that is assigned to that product. A barcode does not store pricing. It doesn't have the description. It doesn't have any images. It really truly is just a code for the system. Think of it this way. I came from a computer background, so for me, this was very easy to understand because in any system that we have, there has to be one identifying field that puts you together. Hi, ZZ22. And because of that, that one identifier, that's how it knows who everything is throughout the system. And when I say who, a lot of the systems I dealt with were with people. So that's why I say who when I meant that. You know, let's think about what is that the IRS uses to identify me. It's my social security number. So for government stuff, that number is who I am. It's not my name, Carol. It's not anything about me personally. It's just a number. That number is then tied to other fields in the system to give you your pricing, your description, your images. So it is the identifying field. Think of it that way. Does that make sense to you all? Because that's why when you guys get those tags, the barcode, the only thing that that's associated with is, in my system, numbers. That's all it is. It's a number. And it's like a very long number, like 16 to 17 digits. But some systems, it's not going to be. So what it is that you will take a scanner. Thank you for that, Heart Me Ashley. You and Sissy also, you gave me one earlier and I didn't say thank you. So when you scan the barcode, hi Rose, it is taking that number and matching it to a database. So even though you're creating the number, you have to have something in the back end of whatever you're using that will be a database to tie your records together. I know I'm getting really techie with you guys, and I'm sorry, but I want you to understand the barcode is just a number. Hey, Gladys. So that number ties it back in my system to what that product is, the product description, the value of it, all of that is all tied to it. So I wanted to let you know that. So now that we got that information, we're going to talk about the types of barcodes. Now I said mine were all numbers because mine is what I will call an internal business only barcode. The only person or only business that barcode will work for is CarolJo's. It won't work for anybody else. The reason why is that if you want it to work across industries or across businesses or across anybody but just you, they have what they call a universal retail ready barcode. A lot of words there. They usually just call it a universal barcode. Okay. We take out the retail ready out of it. Just it's a universal barcode. So to sum it down, there are two types of barcodes. Number one is universal barcode, and the other one is internal barcode. I use internal barcode only. I do not use universal. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the universal and why I chose not to do that one, okay? Universal barcodes are designed to go and be used at different retailers, distributors, wholesalers. So it's a global database, and it uniquely identifies each product. And when I say uniquely identify each product, think of it this way. Let's say you're at the clothing store. When you look at that rack is divided by size. So you'll have extra small, medium, large, extra large, and whatever other sizes they are. So you can have at least 5 sizes. Now you might see that same t-shirt, like just a plain generic t-shirt, in 6 colors. You'll have like white, black, green, red, blue, pink. I think that was 6. But different colors. So each color and each size needs its own barcode. Now let's say we had that same t-shirt and it gives us a V-neck, short sleeved, V-neck, long sleeve. Then there is the crew neck, short sleeve, crew neck long sleeve. Now we've given 4 more options for it. So now you just have to understand, when we did the 5 sizes, 6 colors, that means I need 30 universal barcodes for it. Now if I change my sleeve and my neck for those, that's 4 more. So 30 times 4 is 120. I need to be able to do a universal barcode for that t-shirt line, 120 barcodes. Just for that one, what we would think is one item, but it's not one item because they're all uniquely different. And so that's where when you think about it, so you got to put it in perspective of that way. So with the universal barcode, you have to go to a, it's G1, I think G1S or something like that, here in the US to get that universal barcode assigned to you. To do it, you have a registration fee for the first time you're asking for that barcode. And then every year after that, you will be charged an annual fee for that barcode. So as long as you have that item. So when you think about it, if you had, this is the cost of it, I looked up the cost. If you had 1,000 barcodes, the initial fee is $2,500 for it. And then after that, the annual fee is $500. I know that doesn't, you're like, who would need 1,000? But I want you to go back and think about what we just talked about with the different types of t-shirts. We have 5 sizes, 6 colors, 4 different neck sleeve combinations. And that took 120. So think about when we're creating our jewelry, or for me, the components and the findings. Every time I would show you one item, you know, like sometimes we'll have like item 1, A through E. A through E right there is 5 barcodes because they're not the same item. In my system, I do it as one usually when I put it together like that, because I'm just doing like, I only have one of it. I just don't want to take the time or energy to give it another barcode. I know that sounds really weird, but that's just the way, and you'll see, it'll say miscellaneous or multiple colors or that type of thing. But when we're out in that universal area, you can't reuse it for all of those. Each item or each color has to have its own. So you can do that. If you are wanting to go into the space of doing like Amazon, Target, Walmart, any of those, then that's when you would need it. All right. For me, I use the internal barcode. It is $0 for it if you want to use certain systems. If you want to do a higher end, there can be cost to it. So I'm going to give you some different tips of where you can do it where it would be 0. I don't do those, so I can't get into the nuts and bolts of it. You know, this is where I'm going to say, if you choose this option, it would probably be better to like get it all hashed out by watching tubes. Okay, videos on the tube will be able to help you out more than I can. I just want to be totally transparent there. But you can take Excel and you can create your barcodes in Excel and assign it to it, and it will generate codes for you. You can create an Excel spreadsheet that will do that for you. So let's say, you know, you have, I'm just going to go back to our t-shirt example. Each line in that Excel spreadsheet will be size extra small and then your 6 colors. So you have 6 lines of extra small, but you'll have the color and that. You're going to want to go a little bit step further about the neckline and the sleeve lengths, that type of thing, but you could have those all in there and then generate the codes within Excel. You know, you're going to need, we talk about SKU sometimes. I have SKUs for all of mine. It is not the barcode number. Barcode and SKU are 2 different things. So, you can create a spreadsheet in Excel that has the product, a SKU, the barcode, what category you're putting it in, the value of it, your inventory number, and any notes that you want to add to it. So Excel is very easy to use for it, very easy to generate it. It's just putting that information in there to generate a barcode. It is, I watched the videos on that. It is very simple to use. And if you want something that is that way, that is zero, go for it, use Excel. I wanted a little bit more than what Excel could give me to do my back end of my business. So what I did is that you guys all know I have my base platform for my back end of my business. TikTok doesn't like me to say what that name of that is, but I think a lot of you know which one it is. It starts with an S. In there, I can create a product, and within that product, there is a barcode field. I could actually put that information in there and generate my own barcode. It does not, that I have ever found, do a double check to make sure that barcode is not used by another product. But I haven't checked at all. Thank you, Nordic Luna. She's got it in there. And so that you can do on your own too. So you don't have to use an Excel spreadsheet, but you're going to have to know each and every one of them that you've kept. And that's really a lot of work. That's why using sometimes like Shopify or not Excel would be better. But what I did is there is an app within Shopify. I said it. I know I'm not supposed to say it, sorry. But there's apps. There's add-on apps, they're called. They will generate the barcode for you. So, and there's different ones. You will just, if you have that back-end platform, go ahead and use it and look at what add-ons are available for it so that you could do that. And whatever platform you use, they probably have add-ons too, so that you could try this also. I'm just saying, I took the easy way out and did an add-on. My add-on, I don't know why the value of it has not gone up. The value to do the plan I'm on now has gone up since I did it. I do pay a monthly amount for that. And I'm trying to remember, my amount isn't what you would get today. What it is called, it's called Easy Scan, is what I use. It isn't one of their most popular ones. There's other ones that are more popular, more used. But what I wanted, this one did. And so literally what I do is that I will create my products within my back end. And then there is, as part of it, an area where you can create your barcode if you want it right away, or you can create the printed label. And when I go to create my printed label, it adds the barcode to that item and it goes back into Shopify. Yeah, I keep saying it. We're just going to say it, darn it. So, but it'll go in there and it's saved. Now, the reason why I chose the add-on is because I wanted it to be able to create my label. I wanted it to be able to scan the barcode so I could create lists that we do so that I can send them to you all and such. So literally what this does is that I create the product, and I will be 100% honest about my process here, and this will maybe help understand barcodes and such. In Excel, I put a product, I will put my quantity, I will put the weight, and then also what is my weights, how it's weighed, like ounces, grams, kilograms, that type of thing. Yep, it is. It is really trying to teach us to speak code. And then I will have the value. I will have the cost per product for me. And I put that all into an Excel spreadsheet. I'm not going to lie to you guys. That's one of my steps. Then we take that Excel spreadsheet. I turn it into a CSV file from Excel, which is a comma. I cannot think of all the letters all of a sudden. They went out of my head what the CSV stands for. But it turns it into a technical way to read. I will then take that file. I put it into, of all things, ChatGPT, so that it can fill in my descriptions. It will fill in other fields that Shopify needs for the back end that I don't want to have to think about or create each and every time. If you guys saw the video that I had posted earlier today on all the social medias, then it will, I've gotten ChatGPT to update that, and it will also put in the California Prop 65 disclosure that's needed on certain products. It will put any of the just general disclaimers. It will put out there some disclaimers and disclosures and notes that you just really need on your studio. It's our Spidey area. So it'll do that. But one other thing that it's going to be doing for me that I had to do some updates on is like ADA items. And from there, it will put things in the back end that I don't have to do. It is putting it out there for me. So that's why I use ChatGPT, is to save the time on getting all of that done, and I don't have to worry about it. So then I take it out of ChatGPT. I then upload it into my back end. From my back end, I go into, it's on my menu bar on the left side, just with everything else, but down below there's the apps area on my platform, and I go to Easy Scan. I click that, and it'll give me lots of different menu options. I want the one that I want to print the barcode. I click that, I go to the barcode. You will see on my barcodes the item description at the top, because I really want you guys to have that. That has been one of my biggest things throughout my entire business, is that you will know what is in that bag that you received individually. You don't have to go back to a list. You don't have to go back to writing it down when you know we had our live. None of that. It's right there. That was one of my for me to run my business, it was a very, very important that you have that type of experience. So that's up there. You will see my barcode in the middle. You'll see down at the bottom, you will see the value, and then you'll see some numbers. And sometimes it's a letter number combination. That's my actual SKU for that item. It's not the barcode number. It is so that when in my wall that I have downstairs that we're starting for the warehouse, I have little labels on each item so I know where to go to find it. So the SKU is to help me find the item when I go to grab it to fulfill your package. So if it were all numbers, it would totally mess me up trying to figure out where it was exactly at by having 16 to 17 random numbers. I will just be honest. That's why the barcode and my SKU are two different. One is something easy for me to be able to go find, and one is the identifier for that product. So once I do that, I take and I print them out, I put them on the packages. You know, I talked about how my labels are generated. In this Easy Scan, you can do whatever you want. You could have it just be the label only, or the barcode only. You can have the description, you can have the value, you can have your SKU. If you don't want, you can have whatever you want. And so that's one thing that you need to think about is, what are you generating? And this is where I want to pause and ask a question. When we talked about generating the barcode, What are you using that barcode for? And I know Nordic Luna said she just wanted the barcode, but I'm just going to ask what. I want to ask what for. Maybe I should have asked that a little bit earlier, but I wanted just to identify it. Yep. So my question is Nordic Luna, is a large number going to be okay to identify it? Or would you rather have a skew? But using the barcode to help you get to the skew. I know that sounds really weird. Your skew doesn't get you there. Because barcodes are, to me, anything that I've ever looked at for a barcode are always a combination of numbers. And I could when I was younger, because we used phone numbers, I could remember phone numbers like the back of my hand. I could remember numbers for different things. But as I've gotten older and we now have everything stored on our phone, I can't remember numbers for the life of me. My family thought I was weird because I could always remember numbers. If you threw in a letter in there, I was off. I could remember them. Okay, so you need to have that back end to tie it all together. Yep. Okay, we gotcha. And that's why I wanted to take the time to kind of explain all of this. Yep. And the thing that was taking forever for me to put all that information into the system is just taking and putting each one individually. I have found, for me personally, I actually download my invoices from my vendors with as much information as possible. So I just copy and paste that into that spreadsheet that I was talking about that I then put into ChatGPT. So for company A, I might need field of that download of the invoice. I might need column A, B, D, or whatever it is. And then the next one, it might be column E, J, and K, or whatever it is. But I figure out how I can take my vendors when they give it to me electronically. There is a way also, when you guys receive your lists, it is in the email. You can take that email, create a PDF, and when you create, if you have Adobe Pro, you can create a PDF, and then you can take that PDF and then there's a way to convert it into an Excel. You can't take your email and go to Excel very well. I haven't figured that one out 100%. I'm learning these things, and if somebody knows a better way in Excel to get it straight there, go for it and let us all know. But I take and I put that into there and then download it into an Excel and put it in the right columns. I know that sounds really like high tech and kind of scary, but once you do it, once you learn it, it makes life a lot easier to be able to download things from your where you're doing your invoices from. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. And then you do have to have some sort of a recognition that when you scan that it can read it. So we can talk about different scanners too, because that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I mean, so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my Easy Scan and why I went with that. There are other add-ons. There are other platforms out there. So I literally will take that sticker that I created, put it on the bag. You guys all get the bags. But we put it in the basket while we're on the lives, while you guys claim. After we get done with the live, I then go to my backend platform. I go down to, if there isn't an open list, I go down to Easy Scan and do create order. Click that, and I start scanning away. And since we went away from me having to have everything in an order, I literally can just grab your baskets and just start scanning. I don't put anything in any order. I just grab an item, scan, put it in your, because then if it's a new one, I get your new basket, put it in there. And I just go, 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 and down. Then once I send you your list, you take care of your list, it comes back to me. I then have in Easy Scan on the menu tree, there is one that says orders. I click that, all the open orders pops up. I click the ones that I want to print off. And what I mean by print off, you guys receive in your packages, your packaging slip, and I print that off. And if you've noticed, there's a little barcode at the top, and that's a barcode for the order, not your items, but for the order. I can scan that, it brings up your order, and then I can grab the items out of your basket, I scan it and put it in the box. And we hope everything rectifies and everything is good and I don't have to go back through your boxes and try to figure something out. And I can tell you, since I have implemented that process that we're just talking about, and it's only been in the last like not even couple months, I don't think, that we've implemented that process, my time for getting you guys your list has greatly gone down. Instead of it taking me 2 days, the other, like yesterday, we had 13 to, I can't remember the exact number. It was 13 or 17 individuals that had done claims. I got those all done in less than an hour. Whereas before, my time to do it, I would sort them all out so that they would all go in there because I wasn't using that scan process on the back end to package your orders. And so I was having to make sure it went with what was printed out for your packaging slip so I could spend less time on the packaging side. So by implementing things with barcodes and using what is in this add-on has taken my processing time down from like on a Friday night or Saturday morning live. I might not get them all done until Monday. Just on a one live. That's what it used to be. And now, this last week, I was done. We did stuff because we had Christmas on Saturday night. Some of you got them on Saturday, but it only took me 2 hours on Sunday. And I probably had 40 to 50 of those that I needed to scan. And it took me probably 4 hours at most. So I just want to let you know, I appreciate you guys all let me change processes as we've gone through this. And that's where we've gone to. But if I didn't have this add-on to help me, because I don't want to have to think about how am I going to get this all scanned in together, I wouldn't have been able to get to that process or that point in getting things out sooner. I know that like last week, some of our timings were like, I was struggling to get in the list out to you guys. It was like 3 or 4 lives before I got them to you. And it's because I am doing a lot of prep work back end that you guys don't see to get us ready for where we're going to go to so that I can cut down times even more. I know that sounds really weird, but we're really looking at how I can go from working 60 to 80 hours a week to 40 to 60. That's my big goal. All right. Sorry, that was a lot pushed at you, and I don't know if that was all what you guys are wanting. But one thing I want to talk about is scanners. So, I've only used one type of scanner the entire time I've done scanning. It is, I cannot find a scanner, I will tell you, that will work for like my phone or my tablet that was an actual like scanner. I'm going to go grab it so I can show you what I'm talking about. There's different shapes of these. So when I talk about scanner, I talk about like this. You go, and he has a little red light, and he will scan. So I don't have anything up on my computer, and it didn't wake up for it. But I couldn't find something like that that interfaced with either my phone or my tablet. What your phone or tablet can do is that it can scan. There is in the Easy Scan and any of the other ones, most of them it'll work with, where you use your camera on your phone to do the scanning. Just like when you go someplace and you have that QR code to bring up like the menu at a restaurant, or that, you know, that type of thing, or a form to fill out at, you know, wherever's office you're at. Your phone will do the same thing in these apps that are available for barcodes. What I have found when I use the different ones is it isn't as fast as this is. That's it, literally it. Now, as you notice, I am not tethered to a line to the base of this. I'm not tied to my computer. I just have to be in the area of my where its base is. Its base is a USB port on my computer. You can do it on a laptop. You can do it on a desktop. If you have like a switch where you need to have more, you know, add-ons, that type of thing, you could plug it in there. That goes into your computer. Whatever you need, that's available. So I have this into my computer. I do invoicing or lists only on my desktop. I do not have a laptop. I have a desktop. And so that's where it's at. I always do them at my desk. I don't do them like here. You guys won't see me scanning here, you know, completing orders or anything like that. That's why I don't do them on the live, is because that area is not set up to be able to do that. My goal is, you know, we keep talking about goals for 2026. For me, anyways, I keep talking about it. My goal is that we will get to a point where I could do, sorry, I got the hiccups, the packaging on a live when we get into the new space. I'll have hopefully more room to be able to do that and be able to package and show you guys what we actually do, or I do, for packaging. So that's something that's a future when we get into the new space, because this room is not big enough for that. Because I don't have an area where my computers are at, or where my computer and monitors are set up, that you would be able to have the ring lights and the two phones that I have for going live on two different devices or two different social medias. So that is a goal. But this is what I use for my scanner. You can get little ones that are just handheld. When I went to decide on it, the handheld ones, the littler ones, they just weren't as durable, and they didn't have as long a charge. So like this has been dropped from my desk numerous times. I will be working away and I will just knock it off of my desk. I will knock it on the desk. I've had it for like over a year now, and I just love him. I know it sounds really strange, but by having that, it's cut my time a lot. So you can decide if you want it tethered to your base or the computer. You can have, this one's a Bluetooth one, or you can just use your phone or a tablet. That is totally up to you what you want to do. I mean, this, I will tell you, when I purchased it, was like $100 was around what it cost. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was in that ballpark, okay? And when I mean that, it would be like 90 to 110, somewhere in there, okay? But it has saved me so much time in the long run. All right. I've given you guys a lot to think about. You know, barcodes are about being able to create accuracy, efficiencies, and just being able to implement simple things that make, this is what I thought when I implemented all this. To me, when you got the labels on your stickers on the packages, it just looked more professional. I mean, I know we've joked around about my handwritten labels that I did before, but to me, switching to the barcode and getting the labels the way they are, it was an entire process to get there, but it was just to show professionalism is really what it boiled down to. Efficiency was the biggest thing. So I'm going to take a pause. You guys have questions, because that was a lot to throw at you. And I'm like sitting here paused for a while because if you guys have questions, it might take you a while to enter it in. That's why I thought I would wait just a moment. I'm not just trying to like have dead air. Or if you don't have questions, you can say, I don't have questions. And then I know I'm not having to wait. Yep, the spreadsheet that I use, this is the one thing I want you guys to think about with the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is what I use to identify what that product is, what its cost is, my quantities, my, so it starts out with a small description. I love ChatGPT. It adds more to it for me. But it gives it a small description, the weight, the quantity, the cost per item, and the value of the item, and the SKU. I assigned it the SKU. Yep. So I do that every single time I have anything going in. And then, I mean, so I could actually use the spreadsheet to generate my barcode. I just don't because I wanted the sticker and all the information stuff. Because there's more to that easy scan that I was talking about. There's more to it than just generating a barcode. Hi, Kelly. And let me tell you, for the longest time, all I used it for was to generate the barcode and to scan the barcode to create the list. Then I figured out everything else with it. There's lots more that I use of it than just that. And once you get to that, you're like, why didn't I use this years ago? I haven't had it for years, but you know what I mean. I can't even tell you when I first started using that. But I got in, and I do not know why. Usually when you have anything, like if there's a increase in the value of the cost, we're talking about barcodes and creating the behind the scenes to a barcode, what it all does and what a barcode truly means and what it can do for you. This easy scan just cracks me up because usually if there's an increase in your value of whatever that app is, when you go, you know, like because I pay for it, you can only pay for this one monthly. So when you go to do it, you think it would have increased. Nope, it didn't. I'm like, what the heck? And I even at that time thought, why am I paying for this? But now that I've seen the efficiencies that we can get out of using the barcode and being able to do all the stuff with the barcode within that app, the efficiency, it's paid for itself every month. Any other questions that you guys have? I know this one, I really thought this was not going to take the full hour, so I just thought I'd ask. And I'd be okay, because I got to work on getting everything compliant on the back end. I use EasyScan is the app that I use that interfaces with my back end platform. My platform starts with an S. Someone else wrote it in here earlier. If someone wants to write it in the chat, I'm fine with that. But it really, really helps. It can help. If you guys are doing in-person events, thank you, Nordic Luna. So since I don't do in-person events, I just do everything through here on social media. But if you did in-person events, you could use your actual phone to scan, and then you can within the back end that I use, you can create the POS system so you can scan it and it will take it out of the inventory, everything. So if you have Square does the same thing. So you can have different types of back ends. You can do like Kelly's got Square here. You can use the one that I use. There's WebEx. I know I'm not supposed to say all these names, but we're going to do it. There are just a lot of them. And they all do the same thing, and they all have their own add-ons that you can use for it. And when you do that, when you go to, you can do, when you go to check out, you can have how they can settle up with you. And that is, you can do the taps, if they have the tap on there, you can have a reader and it'll read or you can manually enter it. Or if you're going to take cash, you'll have the cash there. You can even, depending on the places that you go to, it'll do the tax in there. So all of those things, when you have that back end platform, no matter what it is so helpful for a business. It has costs that go with it, but I did use Square for many, many years for in-person events. It worked for me. But when I wanted to go to the studio, it just wasn't what I wanted for a studio. And that's when I made the decision to try. I got out of it. I really seriously got out of doing anything online. And then when COVID hit and I decided to do online, I sat here and I went back to Square again and said, nope, that's not it. Tried the G1 and nope. And and I got to think about it. Was it WebEx? WebEx is not the right word. Webex? I can't remember. It's a W1. It was more that you needed to be a developer or a programmer to use that one. That's not my skill set. So I was like, nope. And I didn't want to pay somebody to do it. And so that's why I settled on the one that I have. So that's a little bit of background. So to get barcodes to work, you do have to have some sort of a back end. It can be something that you create. Oh, I don't want to create it because guess what? That's a lot of work. Yep. And a lot of them do. The one thing that I am learning as I am like questioning things about stuff is going and using it more than normal. I do have to do some changes to it, and that's where I'm going to be spending a lot of time in this first quarter, is getting that all up and going. And I have not seen that one yet. I have not looked at that one. Can I ask, Kelly, why people are going to that one? Okay. I can tell you, for me, Nordic Luna, I will tell you, to get my back end set up with the one I have took me about 6 to 8 weeks. Yes, I was working full time during that. So I want you guys to know, just getting that set up took me personally about 6 to 8 weeks. And that's just to figure out like all of your disclosures, your emails, all of that type of stuff. It wasn't always user friendly, and the Tube was my friend to watch a ton of videos on how to do each thing step by step. For me, the cost of it wasn't that expensive for the one I have. And when I started out, I was doing it monthly because that's what my budget was monthly. And then I moved into, now I pay it annually because we're fine paying it annually. I just set so much away every month for that. See, and for me, I'm a sat up, so I don't know. And I literally, this last time I went to update templates on it. And that's what I mean, Nordic Luna. Not everybody is tech savvy. And that's the thing, is you got to find something that doesn't like discourage you from doing what you want to do. So for me to do I will tell you, I did, and it was so funny because people are saying, don't go to Canva to do your logos. I did. My logo was designed in Canva. But do you know how long it took me to do that? It took me like 2 or 3 days. I am not Canva savvy. I am now getting better at it, but am I a pro at it? Oh, heck no. I'm not a Canva person. It just doesn't always seem logical to me in the way my brain works. Other people are like, yep. And there is someone that's in our group. I mean, Kelly's saying she's has no problem designing Canva. There's someone else that she's helped me learn Canva more. And I'm just like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Doing my QR code for like when I did my in-person events so that they could go to and find me on all the socials and stuff. Let me tell you, that took me about a week. Okay, CC, thank you for saying that about Canva. So all of these tools that we have so many to choose from and to go through, and learning them all, it can be such a struggle. It is, let me tell you. But and I used to I didn't want to use Canva to create my videos for social media because it just was really hard. But what was happening, I used to use CapCut. CapCut is owned by the same company as TikTok, but their ownership of the videos you create has changed. It used to be it was my content, and it's now not all my content. If I took the time to learn it, I want my content to be mine, and it can't go out to somebody else unless I give authorization for it to go to someone else. So I have gone away from CapCut, which CapCut was super easy, and doing them in Canva. Okay, so Kelly had a friend, and that's what, yeah. Yep, and people have talked about designing it in there also, Cindy. And so sometimes I'm like, could I just find somebody that if I gave you a video or if I gave you some pictures, can you create my social media post? So like today, the post that I made earlier today for behind the scenes, that one took me the longest that I've ever had to do this entire year. And that was about an hour and 15 minutes to do it. It kept cutting my voiceover off. And finally, I'm like, done with Canva to do my voiceover. I implemented or imported the video into TikTok because I couldn't get my video the right length in TikTok. So I was doing the video for the pictures there, brought it over into TikTok, did the voiceover in TikTok and got it to work. And my TikTok will save to my phone so that I can put it onto my other social medias. I'm like, holy, that's a lot of work. I'm like, I need a social media person just for that part of it. But then that costs money, and I'm like, do I want to spend the money? I know this is literally what I have to think about every day as us. Oh man. I literally have been like sitting here. Are my videos the most professional? Oh heck no. Do my videos get a ton of views? No. I mean, and it's so funny because there's the algorithms that you have to do. Each social media platform has the specifics that where it's going to push it out if you do this or you do that or da 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 da. Am I going to learn them all? Oh no. I just have decided that I'm going to push out a video and you guys can like it or not. It can get views or not. And it's so funny because on one social platform, I might get 5 views. On another, I will get 100. And another, I'll get 200. And on another, I'll get 1,000. Literally have no clue. And the numbers for each social media changes. And I'm just like, I just want to say, I do not want to spend all the time trying to figure it out because I think my hair would go permanently gray and I wouldn't get anything done that I like to do about the business. I want to be able to create items that we can do tutorials on. I want to be able to bring the items to you so that you can create what you want to create. I want to share tips and tricks with you so that you can learn and grow. That's literally what I want to do. It isn't about creating a viral video. It isn't about creating this big, huge social media following. It is really, truly about just being able to help you guys. And so I'm not going to overwhelm myself to do all of that. I will create a video and that's it. And I know that's probably not the right thought to have on it, but that's what I have. I want you to know what's going on. I want you to see behind the scenes. That was one of the things I thought about for this year, is to show you more than just the 10 to 15 hours a week that we're here live. What else goes into it? Like I said before, I'm doing almost 60 hours a week every week, between 60 and 80. And you know what? That was the one thing that I will tell you this, CC, that creating one post and putting it on all of your social medias, it was very, very, very difficult for me, because if I created it, and I will tell you this, this is an issue between all the social medias, that if I created it in CapCut, it worked fine in TikTok, because remember, they're owned by the same company. It worked fine on Instagram and the Book of Faces, but it would not work on the Tube. And that flustered me. So I didn't always post there because that same video wouldn't work there. Now I have found that it does work if I use Canva. And then if I have a sound to it that I want to use across all the social medias, I will put it on one, have that one download, and then I'll use it across all. So it's been a learning curve. And that's where we can talk in our chat times. If you guys want to talk more about posting social medias and let us all learn and grow with each other, because that is, I will say, one of the hardest things to do is social media, creating social media posts, whether it be a reel, a short, a video, just a picture, any of that. Yep, they do. I actually figured that out about 3 months ago. And I use the same one, because if you go into Canva, and this is where I had struggled and struggled and struggled and didn't like it, I would go in there and I would tell it, I want to do and I have Canva Pro, so I don't know if regular Canva doesn't have that, but I have Canva Pro. So I would go in and say, I want to create a social media post as a video doing this, and then it would do that. And it would narrow it down to one social media. Instead of that, I go in and say, I want to create a mobile video, and I want it to do this. And sometimes it'll give me a template, and sometimes I don't use a template. I'll create it on my own. Just depends on what I want to do. Mobile video, I found, works across all the social. I'm like, that's the one to use. I don't go in and change it for each. And if it doesn't look right, I'm like, at this point, screw it. I want my social media posts that I put out there every day to be a half an hour or less of my time. If it's going to take more than that, like today's took more, the rest of the week better be less. That's my thoughts. And I got to do my little puzzle piece here on TikTok. And the reason why I say that is that I have mapped out times for everything, because if I don't do that, you can just go down a rabbit hole and you won't get out of it, and you won't get anything else done. So that's why I put a half an hour social media post. That's it. If it's longer than that, the one I did today was very important, I thought, because I needed you guys to understand why things are, you guys are probably like, why is it taking her so long? I wanted to explain that. I do not use that. I've tried to use it and it just doesn't create what I want it to. That's why I don't use it. I've tried it. I don't succeed at it. Has anybody else tried it and it worked? And I was going to say, we have gone a gamut around everything that we talked about, but I think it was a really, really good discussion today for me, anyways, to talk about it so that you guys could hear just some different things that we go through. Because we don't talk about a lot of the business sense or the back end things. And it isn't always, like I said today, the fun, the sparkle, the creativity. It was, yes, this will be there today, Lori. Yes. And it will do that, Nordic Luna. You're welcome, Sandy. What I will tell you is that I looked into that and creating it. There's a lot of work that has to go into it. And for me to do that, it was like, that's too much work. If someone could help figure it out to decrease it to where if at the beginning of the week I could give it everything I wanted it to do for the week and I spend 2 hours doing it, I will do it. But the way that I was looking into it and doing it through ChatGPT, it would take about 3 or 4 hours. And I was like, hey, we talked a lot about different things here today, Lori. We talked about barcodes, and then we went into back-end systems, and then we're talking about social media. It has been a gamut, but it's all things that we need to do when we're running our businesses. It's not just about creating, and that's the one thing as business owners, we wear so many different hats for small businesses. We have to be our social media person. We have to be our marketing person. And to me, social media and marketing go hand in hand, but they are two different things. We have to think about our back end admin stuff that you have to do. We have, you know, I mean, who you have to be the courier to take it to the post office because I don't trust the post office that we use at our house here. So there's just lots of different things that go into running a small business. And it's not all about, I created this piece and here it is. And that's the thing that when people talk about, they're going to do their business and they're going to go, you can go live, but you have to have some real thought put into it. And one of the things I was watching a video, I watch lots of YouTubes just to, throughout the day to help fill the back end. We talked about, do you listen to music? Do you listen to TikTok? Do you listen to videos? What do you do when you're by yourself? I will listen to a lot of videos on businesses. And one of the videos I just watched the other day about Mark, and it was Mark Cuban from Shark Tank, the past owner of the Dallas Mavericks. He owns lots of different businesses. He sold lots of different businesses. But the one thing he said is that you need to know about your business is you need to know your demographic. Who is your demographic? How are you going to get it out there? You can have this great product, but if you don't know who you're going to have purchase that and how you're going to contact them to get it, it doesn't work. So you have to know that. And I will tell you, I did not know my demographic in my business until 3 years ago. And not quite 3 years ago. I always said it was this big, huge answer. And when it came down to it, I worked with somebody, came up with my demographic, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is it. So you got to think about who are you going to show this product to? Who is it? And how are you going to get them there? Going live on a social media doesn't always end up being what you wanted it to be if you didn't think about it. And I can tell you, I will tell you, I am the example of that because when I started going live, I was going to sell, I know I'm not supposed to say that word, but I was going to sell my jewelry here. And it wasn't working. And it was because I didn't know my demographics of who I wanted to sell to, how to get to that person here on social media. Ended up in an area of TikTok that wasn't my demographic, wasn't what I was trying to do, but someone asked the question, would you sell your beads? That's what it took in the end of February, beginning of March, because I cannot remember the day that that question was asked, but it was in that time frame 3 years ago. That's what started what I have today. And let me tell you, I'm happier today doing what I do now than what I did for the past 17 years before that. Yes, I love creating jewelry. I love going to the in-person events. But I can tell you I'm happier now today. And it's all because I went into the wrong demographic, wrong analytic, whatever you want to call it, of TikTok. But it ended up being something that I truly love. So they say that word, and I finally figured out why I don't really care for the word pivot that everybody uses. Because to me, pivot means you change. Why don't we use the word change instead of pivot? They said, we in society and industries and business use bigger words. We use bigger words to seem more knowledgeable. And I'm like, once I heard that, I was like, and guess what? It was Mark Cuban who said it in this same video that I was talking about. And when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's why I don't like pivot. We can just say change, but you can change and you can be like, that's it. Change is scary. But see, to me, I will tell you, in my personal, a lot of times change isn't that scary. I know, and you guys can honestly answer this. When my corporate job was eliminated, it'll be a year ago in February. I was actually out on FMLE for getting guardianship of Buttercup. I would still go live, and yeah, I get change is scary, but pivot to me just bleh. I'm sorry, I just do not like that word. And it might sound softer, but to me, it's not softer. It's actually, to me, like because if you watch a pivot irrigation system, this is what it is. It's duh, 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 duh. It's not a smooth transaction. It's not a smooth it's jerky. To me, it's not softer. And that's just me personally, because I know what a pivot is from that aspect. To me, it just, and I get it. But when I'm getting back to my change and where I was going, I literally, as soon as, ooh, I like evolve. I do like that. Thank you for that one. I might use that one now. As soon as I had the phone call because I was out on leave, they called me on leave. I took the call, found out my position was eliminated. I got off the phone. I cried for a few minutes. I called Ryan. I told Ryan what had happened. And as soon as I told him, it was all gone. That whole entire where I was going to, I was okay. I literally inside went through one of the biggest things that you will go through in your career. And he came home from work to be with me, to console me. And I'm like, you didn't need to come. I'm fine. I'm okay. And he's like, nope, nope, we got to talk about this. We got to figure this out. And I said, nope, it's going to be okay. So for me, I took that. Sometimes change does affect me, but one of the biggest changes I ever went through in my entire life with this, it was one of the easiest things. And that's why I wish we wouldn't put so much negativity towards that word, because it can open doors that you never thought you had before. It can be such a positive thing if you do it. But we always in our minds go to the negative. And I think if we can take a moment and think about it and just think about it as a positive, and that we're going to get through this. We might have stumbling blocks, but life is full of stumbling blocks. We just need to take and not give so much negativity to the words we use. And I know in our world today, with things that have been going on lately, I actually had a conversation with, I ran into the store last night with a coworker that I haven't seen in probably 20 years, I would say. And her and we were talking, and I said, you know what? She was talking about her mental state. And I said, my mental state is, yes, we all have negative things come at us, but what can we find as a positive? How do we get out of that negative headspace? How do we move forward? And that's, I think, one of the things I wish we could do more of. And I know I'm getting into like the heavy here, but that's the one thing I wish we could do more of as a society, and like not look at the word change as a negative. It's a positive. It's growing something. It's evolving to something. I love those words to describe what's going to happen when we do this. So how about we leave? I'm like, I don't mean to turn this into like a, but that's the one thing I think that we need to think about. And I'm sorry we've changed this into like a, but I think that's how we can make sure when we start something and we grow something and we want our businesses to succeed, is being in that positive mindset and knowing, yes, there are negatives. If you guys would have seen me this morning, I had an hour of trying to get ChatGPT to do something for me, but I knew in that hour, once it was done, that what we had done, I will be able to just redo this, and I won't have so much time at next time. And that is like literally that, what I'm talking about with our mindset, I went through this morning. I could have been like, this isn't going to work. This is going to be I can't do this. I can't do what I want to plan for the year. My business is going to fail, da da da. And I literally sat down. I would work on it. I would walk away while ChatGPT was doing its thing. I started sorting laundry, came back, we would work on it. Then I went back in and started a load of laundry. Came back, worked on it again, and I would go do something else and walk away for it while it was working, so that I didn't sit here and dwell on it going, oh my gosh, this is a time waster, da 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 da. And I think as society, we need to do more of that. Sorry, that's just what I'm going to say for today. I hope you guys got a little bit of positivity. We went a little long, sorry. But I hope you guys got something out of today, even just a little bit about something that you can do to succeed in your day-to-day, succeed in your business, and just take a little piece and see where you can go on that. And use those words, evolve and grow. I love them. You're welcome, Maria. So I'm going to end on that note. If everybody's good with that, that find something that's a positive. Maybe, hey, tomorrow we have chat at 2. See if in the next 24 hours you guys can find something positive that could have been a negative. And can we bring it back to the chat tomorrow so that we can uplift each other? Do you have a... All right. I'm just asking. And then we'll be back. I do not have a live tonight. We will be back at 2 o'clock for chat tomorrow. And then 7 o'clock, we're going to have a bead event. And then Saturday at 10 a.m., we're going to have the charm event. And I've picked a lot of the beads. I'll talk about those in the chat tomorrow. There's some cool things coming. I'm excited about Friday nights. All right, everybody. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow at 2. Bye.